Hey everyone, it's been a while since I've done anything tutorial wise. The reason why, I've recently started a new job and I now work for Land Rover. And in the time I've been there, I've also learnt some new things on Alias. So I thought I would do a quick tutorial on some stuff that I've learnt how to do. So first thing is using measurement tools in Alias. So I've got a load of tools here on my shelf, or you can go to Windows, Palette, and then it's under Evaluate, I think, Locators. So under these locators here, you've got loads of different dimensioning tools. So as you see, I've got them here, and the one I tend to use is distance, but I found it quite awkward to get used to because I didn't understand what I was doing with it until somebody told me what to do. And there's two types of measurement. There's a true measurement and a projected measurement. And what happens is, say if you say if you're in this view and you want to measure from here to here, depending on what that CV has picked up, you'll see there that it's 1891 millimeters, and that's gone from there to there. But if I went from here to here, what that's going to do, as it's currently set up to measure the true distance, it's going to measure from A to B. So that distance is what is it doing? What is it not? Oh. So that's measuring the true distance from A to B, which, as you can see there, is 2303 millimeters. Now, if you're in an orthographic view and you've accidentally picked that CV at the back, and all you wanted to know was distance from this CV to this CV, what the tool can do is, if you set it to projected view, it's like measuring in an orthographic view. So you can go from that CV to that CV, and it'll tell you it's 1891 from that point to there, but that also takes into consideration the angle, so it's obviously not straight, but that's what you can see it's done. So if I do that tool again and measure from there to the same point, you'll see the distance is different, 1941. So that's because that's measured from there directly to there, whereas the projected view measures as you see it there in orthographic view. And that's the difference between measuring true and projected. So it's really good for working that sort of stuff out. So when someone says, oh, how big is that? And it needs to be 5 mil or whatever, it's really easy. And to pick them, you have to pick them as locators. So if you pick locator, and then you can delete them. So they don't get picked up by object, curve or surface. They have to be a locator. So that's how you use that measure tool. The angle tool is, if you select a point first and then go in a straight line, and then your third click gives you your measurement. Okay, so you have to do A and B to get a straight line or whatever point. So you could do the same, so you could go from there to there and then that way, if that makes sense. So you have to do the straight line first and then you get your angle. So that's how you use the angle tool, which is quite handy for when you need to rotate things and you need to measure the angle they've been rotated at and whatnot. So yeah, that's how you measure with those. Now if these are consistent diameter, like a consistent arc or circle. That will tell you how big that radius is. So that radius is 13052.2 millimeters. It's quite big, but again, same thing. You just click on, because you're measuring the radius, as long as it's a consistent arc or radius, which this is, it'll give you an actual value by just literally clicking on the curve. You don't have to do anything else to it. So that's quite good. I haven't really played with the other ones, but you get the idea how to use them, so you can pick points and that's it really. So what I've also done as well, for the benefit of this tutorial, I've just quickly made a surface, and when you need to do a cross section of whatever you've modelled, it's quite easy to do a cross section in Alias. So this tool called the Dynamic Section tool lets you view a cross section or surface of meshes. So that's what it looks like. And if you go to your palette, under Evaluate, it's this one here. So it's DYNSEC, in case the resolution you can't see what's going on here. But yeah. So if I select that tool and I select an object, what I can then start doing is, if I turn on visual clip, I should also, if I need to select a view, so I think that's currently doing the Z. Let's rotate that. So what that's doing is drawing a curve on that surface across those, and there should be a way. Oh, why isn't it let me do that? Right, it's doing it now. I don't know, that's just literally clicking that button seemed to refresh it. So doing a cross section, you can literally drag this widget, you can rotate it, and you can find out what your cross sections are doing across that tool, which is quite handy. So if I do File, Open Recent, if I open my toaster, when this comes up, I'm going to click No, and I'll explain why in a minute. And what that's going to do, it's going to import my toaster design. But what that's done, you can see I've got a green preview or reference of that file I just had open, but you notice I can no longer select it. And I'll tell you why in a second. So if I just turn the toaster on, I just want to show you what this section tool looks like when you've got several things open. So rather than just having one surface, you see the whole thing. Right, okay, so I'll get the tool up again. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to select all these objects and section them. And it's pricked up from where I had it previously. And as you can see, it basically hides that model. And so it's quite a heavy model. You wouldn't think it for a toaster, but it is. So that gives you a better idea of what they look like. Oh, what are you doing? My marking menus have all changed for some reason. And then I think as soon as I click off that, nothing will change. That'll stay cross-sectioned. But don't panic, just turn off the visual clip. And it should refresh itself, but it's clearly not. Come on. I might have to select that object. Right, let's try again. Okay, so you have to have the object selected for it to recognise that you want to turn it off, which is quite handy. So you could select a few objects you want to cross-section and just cross-section a few rather than everything. So that's how you use a cross-section tool. It's quite good. Okay, now back to the point where I've got this previous surface. Have I got anti-aliasing turned on or something? Yeah, right, turn that off. So I'm trying to record a video and it's trying to anti-alias the whole model, which is why it's going laggy. Right, okay. So as you see, I've got, this is all my toaster stuff. Pretty straightforward. But up here, there's a thing that says stages. So if I open the stage editor, or if you haven't got it here, you go to Window, Editors, Stages, and it opens this same box. And basically, I've effectively got two files open, and I'm working on the toaster, and my undefined or the file that isn't named or anything or saved is visible, and I can turn all these different settings off so it's no longer visible, or I can flick between that and that. Again, that's got my tool, so let's just turn that off. It's just not going to do it. Come on. Oh, it's not enjoying this for some reason. Come on. For whatever reason, that isn't doing that. Has it still got it on? So it still wants to do it. What is it doing? Right, for some reason I do not understand. It's nowhere near what I want it to do. Yeah, it keeps cropping that. Don't ask me why. So anyway, so you can flick between these two files basically, which is quite handy when you've got multiple levels of data. So like you could build up, say if you're doing a car, you could have wheels on one file, and then you could have exterior on another file, interior on another file, details, vents, grills, lights, and you can build them all up in here. But if you're on like this stage and you do file save, next time you open it, it won't have all these stages in here. It'll just be the file on its own. But what you can do save. It's not on here. The version I use at work allows you to save stage sets. So you can do a stage set and then it will save a file that's got all your sets in it of different stages and whatnot. But yeah, it's basically a way to assemble multiple files. So if you're working on something to do with a wheel, you can see what it looks like in relation to the body, blah blah blah. So it's quite heavy. That's quite handy when you do multiple versions and you're working with multiple versions of your data and you've tweaked one or whatever. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to delete the toaster from here now. And still it's got this. Well, this is quite frustrating. Not really sure why it's doing what it's doing. Ugh. Right, okay. Don't ask me. It's a bit buggy. Right, I'll do a new delete. Yes. So another thing I want to show you, apart from the buggy cross-section tool, is just want to create another surface. And I'll just quickly oops. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just select all these curves. I'm going to make them all 3 degree. And then to do something pretty similar to what I just had, I'm just going to pull some of these up. And to make it interesting, we'll pull some of these down maybe. One more so than the other. And we'll vary the one on this side as well. So let's just pull them all up with the grid. So quickly just going to surface that with a square. I've got mine set to 3 degree on my explicit control. Everything's set to 3. So that's quite happy, no failures or anything like that. Right, so that I've got a surface. I know another thing I've learned is rather than say I want to trim a certain shape out of that tool, so normally I'd go into a view, say in this case top view, and I'd draw a curve and then I'd project it and trim the surface. Rather than doing that, to show you as an example, so if I curve, let's say so I select that surface and then use a project tool in Z, select the curve, project. Right. So now I've got a curve on surface, which is that green curve you can see there. So if I just select curve on surface, there we go. Now if I was to trim that that edge, that surface, that edge that you trim to will no longer be the same as a 3 degree curve, which is a pain. Because when you come to build off that edge, it's no longer a 3 degree edge, it'll be like a 5 or 7 degree edge or something silly, and it'll have loads of spans. And it causes lots of headaches, and you have to be very careful or clever the way you do these things. So, what my colleague showed me at work was quite a revelation. This tool down here, which is Transform CV, it's always in this palette for some reason, in the bottom. So if I double click that out, this is the window I get. If I select that surface and I press spacebar, you get this cool little widget. Now I haven't played with this yet, but basically all these tools will move the surface along. So if I select that CV, hang on, do I have to be on this tool? Why is it? Okay, select surface, transform, transform. Now I'm going to pick that CV. I should have already played with this before because it's not doing what I want it to do. Right, when you press spacebar, you're supposed to get that widget come up. And for whatever reason, this isn't playing ball. Let's try doing it with the CV holes on. Now let's try it. So, right, this is what I want. Except it'd be nice to... okay, so when I select the CV with this tool, to go over that again, what I clicked on was the icon. It was here. So I get to pick CV along a curve. You can change your mouse sensitivity, but here you've got fall off, which you can play with, and that basically means as far as I move this one, it's whether it wants to move that one or that one. But what this will do is no. Okay, yes. So what I can do now, I can move those CVs all at once. I'm supposed to be able to move them all at once. This isn't going well. Oh, come on. It's not doing what I want it to do. When I was showing this, it was... rotate scale, non-proportional, proportional modification, parallel. Let's try that one. Again, that's not, it's recognising I'm still on that tool, which is really annoying. What I'll do, I'll have a play with it. I'll work out exactly what I'm supposed to be doing with it, because it's not working the same way my colleague showed me. And then I'll do a new video, because what it does do is it allows you to move CVs along the surface. But it just keeps thinking I'm deselecting from the tool, which is really annoying. Because I don't want to deselect tool, I want to be on the same tool. Okay. Maybe it's different. Right, okay. So I should be able to select more than one of these. So what I should be able to do, but that's not doing, no, that's changing the surface. Okay, so that one changes the surface. Let's try that one. That one also changes the surface. Let's select that one. Right, so this one should, but it's not doing it. I've got a feeling, actually. Let's try one more thing. If it doesn't work, we'll give up. So I've turned the curves. I've selected the curves and turned the CVs off the curves so I can't pick those because I've got a feeling I'm picking the curves and not the actual surface. So the surface itself, I've got the CVs turned on for the surface. I've got a feeling that's the problem. Right, so let's pick this again. Oh, come on. So I should be able to pick that and I should be able to move along this. It's not doing it. Right, this is really nice. What I'm trying to show you is you should be able to trim this surface by moving these CVs, and it always maintains the shape of the surface without deforming the shape of the surface. So that CV would move along the surface. So you can create that corner chopped off without having to trim it, and it isn't doing what I want it to do. So I'm gonna have to have a play with this, unfortunately. Is it that one? Possibly that one. So that's still deforming the surface. Ah, why is it not doing what I want it to do? So what I want that to do is to just carry on doing that surface. I'm desperate to find out because it's brilliant when it works. Okay, that's not doing it. Why aren't you doing it? Slide. Right, there we go. Okay. Sorry for all the faffing, but it's not actually staying. Which is annoying. So it's not doing what I thought it should do. But what you can do is when you move these, so the surface is changing slightly, but only a tiny amount. And then you can, these arrows tell you how many CVs you're moving. So you can alter the shape of the surface, but as you can see, there is a certain degree of fudging required. like I say, I'm going to have to sit and actually work out how to do this properly. So it should be able to just move that. Let's add that CV as well. So let's make that back down to 0, back down to 0, just move that 1. So you get the idea anyway. So you can create from that original surface, albeit it's lost curve just quite a lot over here. So you're editing the actual surface, not the original curves, basically. But it means you can get that shape, but when you do a if I duplicate a curve on that edge, or no, yeah, it should be that one. Yeah, so if I select that edge and create a curve from it, it should in theory be a 3-degree curve. Whereas if I trimmed it, so let's do that for sake of argument. Let's just delete all that. Okay, it would be helpful if it actually squares the thing. So yeah, by using that transform CV, you can create that shape. But if I were to trim it like the normal way, so select surface, trim that 3-degree curve, use the trim tool, get rid of the part I don't want, and then do just a duplicate curve. You'll then see it says 3-degree, but it's got 2 spans. So now, when I build off that edge, it's going to want to need 3 or more degree surface coming off, and possibly it will give you a span. So yeah, you can do curve fits, but that's not ideal when you need to build off that surface. So you can get it down to a 2-degree, but because that surface has been trimmed, that's no good for when you want to build off that surface. It's alright if you want to use the curves and rebuild that surface again, but yeah, that gives you an idea anyway. So there is a benefit to a certain amount and a lot of messing and fudging around with the CVs as a whole, but you can create sections from your original surface and rebuild it without having to trim it. Therefore you get a 3-degree clean edge rather than a trimmed edge. I think that's about it, Yeah, any questions, leave them in the comments and I'll try my best to answer them, and hopefully do some more stuff soon. Cheers.